So finally we get to the point here. So we want to know is we have the roots of a quadratic function are 1 plus or minus root 2. Those are the two roots. So to be clear, one of the roots is 1 plus root 2 and the other root is 1 minus root 2. It's 1 plus or minus root 2. And the question is, what is the equation? And I just threw in a value of a there. A is 33, just so we could see what it is. So we know that f of x is a x minus the first root, x minus the second root. So we're going to kind of ignore the a for a bit. So we're going to say that f of x, let's start plugging things in. It's going to be a, and then we'll put a square bracket here. X minus, and the first root is 1 plus root 2. And then we have x minus the second root, which is 1 minus root 2. A lot of brackets going on there. All right, maybe I'm gonna write it in a slightly different color just to show it more clearly. So it's going to be x minus the first root times x minus the other root. Now we're going to need some space for this, so we're going to go on to a next page. So we'll kind of, again, we're kind of leaving that a out there. So we have, I'm going to expand in this bracket. So the minus is going to multiply in. So it's going to become, we're going to multiply this minus into both of those and multiply this minus into both of those. So we can kind of get rid of the green bracket. So that's going to give us, let's see, we've got x minus 1 minus root 2, and then x minus 1, and a negative times a negative is plus root 2. Okay. So now we're going to expand these guys. So this x is going to multiply by this one, and this one. So why don't we do that first? So we're going to say f of x, and we're leaving the a out. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is minus x. X times root 2 is going to be plus x root 2. Those are the first three. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do the minus 1 times all three. So minus 1 times x is minus x, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, and negative 1 times 2 is minus root 2. Okay, and we're not quite done. We have one last series left. We got to kind of do this times this times this, and that times that. So the first green arrow, we're going to cover it, is going to be negative root 2 times x is going to be minus x root 2. Root 2 times negative 1 is plus actually, root 2. And negative root 2 times root 2 is going to be minus root 4. Oop. And I kind of ran out of space there. Okay. So writing it out, again, we're going to get, it's going to be x squared minus x plus x root 2 minus x plus 1 minus root 2 minus x root 2 plus root 2 minus root 4. And now some things cancel here. So if we look, we have plus x root 2 and minus x root 2. So those are going to add up to 0. And we also have minus root 2 plus root 2. So those guys are going to add up to 0. And we have less stuff. We definitely are shrinking it down a little bit. So now it's going to be a x squared minus x plus 1, and the square root of 4 is 2. So I'm just going to write it as minus 2. And f of x is a x squared minus 2x. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. And there we go. That's kind of our generic answer. So, ooh, there's a lot of dots on this page. So we know that f of x equals a x squared minus 2x minus 1. Now, in my initial question, I said assume that a was equal to 33. So if a was equal to 33, then the answer would be f of x equals 33 times x squared minus 2x minus 1, or you could write it as 33x squared minus 66x minus 33. But that's probably not what you're going to be asked. What you're probably going to be, we're probably going to do a version where we're going to say, okay, assume it goes through the point 3 and 8. So it goes to the point 3 and 8. So our equation was that over there. So it's going to be f of x equals a times x squared minus 2x minus 1. This is our x. This is our f of x. So f of x is 8 equals, and we're going to try to solve for that. And the x is 3 squared minus 2 times 3 minus 1. So 8 equals a times 9 minus 6 minus 1, or 8 equals a times 9 minus 6 is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2, and then we divide both sides by 2, and we get a equals 4, which means that the answer here would be 4 x squared minus 2x minus 1, or another way of writing it would be 4x squared minus 8x minus 4. So this is the equation that has roots of 1 plus or minus root 2, and that goes through to point 3 and 8.